Jumping into the number 5 side of the best Black Friday mechanical keyboard deals is the ASUS ROG Strix Scope 2, typically priced at $179.99. Now on sale for $144.99. If you want to check out any of the 5 keyboards in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links, but let's talk about this ASUS. For the form factor, this is a 96% keyboard with a thick metal top plate, plastic bottom shell with nice glossy accents throughout. It's pretty good looking for like a mainstream gaming keyboard brand. This has a volume wheel and it has tons of dampening, which is something you wouldn't expect from ASUS, but they did a great job with. This sounds kind of more like a custom keyboard. As for the switches, these use factory lubed ROG Snow switches, which are linears, or Storm switches, which are tactile. But the really cool thing here is that even though it's coming from ASUS, which is a gaming brand, this is fully hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches. So you can put any switch you want, even if it's like a custom-y switch, in this and have a very cool gaming keyboard with custom switches, which is very cool. But stock switches are actually pretty impressive. Very, very smooth. For connectivity, this is wire with a detachable USB Type-C, but you can also use this wirelessly with either a Bluetooth or a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle. And the battery life on this is very good at 1500 hours. So very impressive. As for RGB, it's your classic gamery RGB style lighting with tons of modes, per key lighting, pretty much anything you'd want. And if you just want to put some like real custom non-shine through keycaps on, you can always just turn off the RGB. But I personally like it a lot. But with that, let's move on to the number 4 spot, which is the Keychron V1. Typically priced at $84.99, now on sale for $67.99. Now, this is a 75% 2-piece plastic shell with a knob that doesn't have wobble. That knob is solid. This uses south-facing LEDs. It has QMK. It's a semi-transparent case, which I think looks cool, and it has tons of high-quality dampening, which makes for a very cool sound. You can either take that out or leave it in. For the switches, these are Gateron G Pro factory lubed red or brown switches. Reds are gonna be linear, browns are gonna be tactile. And this is obviously fully hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches. Those G Pro switches that are factory lube are pretty thickly factory lubed, so there's some inconsistencies, but overall they're very, very smooth. And for a factory lubed switch, these are very, very livable, and they have a great sound as well. For connectivity, this is wired with a USB Type-C, but it's detachable. As for RGB, this is exactly what you want. It's per key lighting, there's tons of modes, it's vibrant, it's bright, pretty much everything you want. But with that, let's move on to the number 3 spot, which is the Kludge H81, typically priced at $89.98. Now on sale, $63.99. That's a very good price for the H81. I love this keyboard. This is a 75% split design keyboard, which I think is aesthetically super nice looking. There's tons of unique angles and cutouts and just little details here that I really like. Makes this look a lot more special, especially for the price tag, at least on Black Friday. But one of the coolest things about this keyboard is there's a connectivity switching like knob. Actually, I don't know what you would call it. Is it a rotary knob? It's something. It's very cool though. It's on the top right and it's super satisfying to click through those different connectivity modes, and not to mention it's just very like quick and easy to use every day. And lastly, there's a ton of dampening in the case, so the overall sound is very good just out of the box. For the switches here, these are pre-lubed Sky Cyan switches, which is a linear switch. This is also fully hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches, but those Sky Cyan switches, which I don't actually know who makes those, and I've never seen these switches anywhere else except the H81, but they are really, really quite good. They're nice and smooth. They don't have a ton of stem wobble. And for the price, on Black Friday especially, like less than 65 bucks, that is a crazy, crazy good switch with factory lubing from the fact, like that's really good. For connectivity, this is wireless with a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle, so you can still game wirelessly, which is sweet, and maintain that 1000 hertz polling rate. But you can also use it with Bluetooth if you want. It's got Bluetooth 5.1, or you can use this wire with a USB Type-C, especially if you want to do like a custom coiled cable, you can definitely do that. But this has great battery life if you don't want to plug it in, so either way, it's going to be great. As for RGB, this is per key lighting, all the modes and static colors you want, pretty much everything you would expect from per key RGB lighting. But with that, let's move on to the number 2 spot, which is the Yunzii Y68 Royalaxe, typically priced at $89.99. Guys, now on sale. If you click the additional coupon code, at least in the US, this brings the total price to $41.83. Now, I don't know if this is technically a Black Friday deal. We've been seeing this happen a lot with other deals where they don't call it a Black Friday deal, but it is discounted heavily only today. That is more than 50% off with the coupon code. That's why it's at the number 2 spot. Insane deal. Click the links below before it's gone. I know this one's gonna sell out. For the form factor, this is a 65% form factor, which is great for gaming, great for space saving, and aesthetically looks super nice. This is a 2-piece plastic shell with large, thick metal accents on the right and left, which look great. They have flip over risers, a thick metal plate with, get this, a ton of silicone dampening. Overall, it's a very extremely solid and premium board. And think about that price tag, $41.83 is ridiculously good for this. Now for switches here, they use Gateron Pro Reds, Browns, or Yellows. And this is also fully hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches. So if you don't like the switches, you can swap them out, but get the yellows if you're gonna be a gamer. If you're gonna use this for gaming, get those yellows, have a faster actuation. This is a great keyboard. It sounds fantastic from the factory, just out of the box, stock, it sounds great. For connectivity, you can either use a detachable USB Type-C, Bluetooth, or a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle. And it's got a nice long battery life, so if you do want to game wirelessly, you can. It has a 3000 milliamp hour battery, which is very good. And lastly, RGB's got great brightness, great colors and vibrancy, all the modes and statics you'd expect. RGB typically on keyboards is just like very good across the board at this point. But with that, let's move on to the number 1 best mechanical keyboard deal. This is the Royal Kludge M75, typically priced at $139.99. Guys, now on sale for $79.99. This is a 75% form factor. This uses a 2-piece plastic case with a metal knob, an extra USB-C connection when in wired mode, a small OLED screen in the bottom right, and it's gasket mounted with tons of dampening here. So the sound out of the box and feel is very good. For the switches, you have a choice between browns, reds, or speed silvers. Obviously, browns are gonna be tactile. The reds and speed silvers are going to be linear. If you want a gaming keyboard, well then go with the silvers. That's gonna have a faster actuation. And this is also fully hot swappable with 3 and 5 pin switches. So if in the future you wanna get into modding, or if you wanna mod it right out of the box, well, you're ready to go. Any switch you want. For connectivity, this uses a detachable USB Type-C or Bluetooth, or game wirelessly with a 2.4 gigahertz USB dongle. And this also has a very large battery of 3,750 milliamp hours. That's a lot of battery life and a very awesome keyboard. I've used this one as a daily for quite a bit of time, and it is a very, very nice keyboard to daily. But guys, $140 to $80 is basically the deal that we're seeing here. That's crazy. Lastly, RGB is very bright, it's vibrant, tons of modes, tons of colors, percolating, everything you want. But again, if you want to check out any of the 5 keyboards in this video, there's Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. These Black Friday deals, I try to keep the videos a little bit shorter, not to waste your time. I know you guys are looking at a bunch of sales. Check out my channel and check out the top 5 keyboard videos that I put. I think a lot of these are on those videos. That's where you're gonna get a more in-depth review. I basically do reviews for each one in a top 5 video, but you really can't go wrong with any of the 5 on the list. But yeah, this is a consumer tech review, and I'll see you guys in the next video.